Yes, you guys, welcome back. How you guys are doing today, man? I hope that everything is going nice and smooth. Obviously, yeah, I haven't been doing many streams for a while. It's going to take me a bit of time getting used to things again. So I hope that everything is sounding good. So I hope that you guys can hear me. I'm hoping the audio is sounding good and everything's running fine, yeah? If everything's good, you guys, let me know in the comments, yeah? Great to see all you guys here. Zach O'Leary, hey, man. Aditya, how you doing, bro? Charles, what's up, man? Manir, 23SFC, mad visuals. You know what? Shout out to the editor Harrison for coming through. You know what I mean? Did me nicely with these visuals, of course. Sick guy, and a great help as well. So I'm assuming you guys that everything's calm. I'm assuming that you guys can hear me good, and I'm worrying for no reason. That's beautiful to hear right now. But of course, you guys, welcome back to the Q&A live stream. It's been a long time since I've done one, but with transfer season here right now, it's an amazing opportunity for me to answer some of the questions that you guys might be having right now. So, you know, it's a very confusing period, the transfer window, and of course, I'm here to do my bit to help you guys out. You know what I mean? So, of course, if you guys, you know what I mean, if you want to show us some love with super chats, if you want your questions prioritized, you know what to do. Send your super chats in. And of course, this is an opportunity for you to ask me the questions that you want to know. You know what I mean? So, of course, we'll start with the first one. And this is from Charles Hanley. And he wants to know, of course, the latest news surrounding Gilmour and his potential loan move now to Norwich City. Now, yeah, the Athletic came out recently, I think half an hour ago, to disclose the fact that it seems like Gilmour is set to sign on loan Norwich City under Daniel Farke. And of course, Farke was the Dortmund's number 2 Dortmund B team, essentially coach of the team. So him and Tuchel do have a good relationship, and you know, Farke plays a good style of football with the 2 holding mids that he likes to use. From a tactical perspective, you know that Gilmour is going to be able to really complement things at Norwich. You know, part of me is feeling though like ideally I would not prefer if I would prefer if Gilmour was to go to maybe a better club. Relegation clubs always make me nervous, and it's like you could have the best season individually, but if, let's say, Norwich get relegated, you're still going to be left in the muds. That's still going to be used against you somehow. So I don't know, with how Gilmour's performed so well for so long against many big opposition too, I personally feel like he could be playing for a better team, but who knows? Let's see what happens, and let's see how Norwich do. I mean, they do have a great young team. They do play a nice style of football. They came straight back up to the Premier League. So and they actually signed, you know, some decent players. I think Rashica from I think Werder Bremen is a great start to their window. Gilmour on top of that as well to add to their midfield, replacing Skip, who for me Gilmour is a different level to Skip. You know, there's some potential in that team. So at this point in time, I could be completely wrong, and maybe I'm being a bit too facetious. But at the same time, I can't help but feel like, I don't know, maybe Gilmour abroad somewhere or something. I would have liked to have seen that. But of course, moving on to answer more of you man's questions. RV, is there any truth on Haaland to Real Madrid's? Master reported Real made a 110 million euro bid, which was turned down, but could be agreed upon for 130 million euros. Now, of course, you know, I think one thing we do realize with, you know, transfer season is that there tends to be like differences in regards to reporting. You know, what they say in Italy, what they say in France, what they say in Spain, Germany is all normally completely different. They have their own personal sources. You know, who am I to be saying, you know, what the news is in Spain? The same time though, we know what Dortmund won. They won 150 million, but you know, that one interesting bit of news was that Dortmund could accept 130. Now, 20 million less might not seem like much, but that makes a big difference, especially when you're accounting for that. And who knows, could this be the start of maybe more news to come? That Dortmund maybe are willing to drop their price a bit more if it means cashing in on Haaland. We'll find out. I still think there's plenty of time to have before this deal does get potentially finalized. This will be one of the long deals for this summer window. And I'll be interested to see how like Raiola and Haaland are going to react essentially. But right now I've got my first super chat. I appreciate that, man. Mitchell Brown, thanks a lot, man. Your question is, yes, Nini, hope you're good. Yeah, man, not too bad. Do you think we have a real chance at signing Haaland this summer or next summer? Champions of Europe, you know what we are. You know what's mad? Obviously, I have like random thoughts throughout the day ever since we won the Champions League, where it's like it still hasn't even really sunk in like that. Like, wow, we've actually won a Champions League. I literally saw my team lift it like last month, playing incredible football against Man City to beat them thoroughly for the third time. Wow. Honestly, it's like one of the best times to be a fan right now. But to answer your question, man, listen, I definitely feel confident that we could get this deal done. I feel like, you know, the information that makes me feel confident is the fact that, number one, Roman, you know, when reports suggest that he wants to get involved and he wants a player, normally he does end up getting him. And normally he is okay to, you know, put that money in as well. You know, the FFP rules have been relaxed too, meaning that this is the perfect time now to make a move of that nature. And of course, at the same time, when you see the potential of the club, the way we play under Tuchel as well, winning that Champions League, you know, that sends out a very powerful message that, you know, get ready because we're coming. You know what I mean? So I definitely feel like we can get the deal done depending on the business. But I don't get the impression that we're going to look to like cheap out and be like, okay, we're not going to spend more than 100 million. It won't be like that. So I'm curious to see how this deal is going to get done. I think there's lots of interesting factors, like the fact that for a long time now we've looked to rebuild our relationship with Raiola. Like, we're not doing that for no reason. We're not doing that for no reason. You know what I mean? So for me, there's plenty of time. Of course, the Euros is the main distraction. And one thing we have to always remember is that when times are like this, when things are quiet, that's how you know the club's cooking in the background. I mean, we saw it last season time and time again with you know, the two notable ones in Ziyech and then Timo Werner. It's how we do things. So, you know that talks are being had, things are being kept very discreetly, and you know, I'm still feeling quietly optimistic. I'll be very real with you guys. I'm not here to gas it and say whatever. I feel like my thoughts and my predictions, they're not too bad. You know what I mean? And I feel like based on everything I'm hearing, all the reports, etc., I feel that we should definitely feel confident about Haaland. But anyway, Mitchell, I appreciate that. I thought I had another super chat somewhere. Did I miss that? I'm not too sure. Hopefully I find it. This is what I find really annoying about this live stream thing. Like, you think all the super chats will just be here for me to just find real quick and that's it. Apologies, you guys. Hopefully I'm gonna find out where YouTube's hiding it. You know what I mean? But of course, to move on, let me answer some of you guys' questions in the chat right now. Before I do that though, I got another super chat from Manir. Appreciate that, man. Bro, keep up the good work. Really loving the content. Yeah, thanks a lot, man. Videos like this is just like a small glimpse of things to come. Like, I need to get more serious now and start really, you know, trying to achieve some of these long-term ambitions that I've been talking about for a while, but not really doing right now. So, yeah, Munir, man, I appreciate that. Moving on to Milan Deep Singh. Hey, Nini, should we be more focused on clearing out players we don't need in this window rather than focusing too much on the incomings? I feel like we can do a bit of both. This Hakimi report was interesting. Like, of course, you guys in the comments below, in the description below, I have linked today's 2 videos that I did. And in the first one that came out this morning, I did discuss what I was hearing about Hakimi. So it was very interesting that Romano's news came out earlier during the day to basically inform us that Hakimi is set to sign for Paris Saint-Germain. And actually, we didn't place an official bid, which falls in line with what I was saying. That everything was kind of like exploratory. It was more taking advantage of a situation in the market than it being like a long-term ambition and plan to get it done. So I guess it was no surprise why we were only willing to go max 55 million Alonso. That was it. And, you know, that meant that Paris Saint-Germain had to up their bid even more. So maybe Marina's playing 3D chess right now. We don't know why she wanted to, you know, make it so public, that news. maybe that's trying to put Paris Saint-Germain off from trying to sign Haaland. Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, I'm not too fussed by the news, to be honest. And yeah, it's just interesting to see how like the club decides on targets behind the scenes. But thank you for that, man. We move on to Miguel Rabins. Thank you, man. And I'm sorry if I just completely messed up your name. Big fan of yours. United are getting Sancho. Does that affect our chances of getting Haaland? I'm not liking the alternatives, but Lewandowski. You know, I agree with you, man. The alternatives, there aren't many around. I think the only one interesting one for me would be Gerard Moreno from Villarreal. And, you know, when I put down the 90 million price tag, that was because his release clause was set at like 100 million euros. But reports came out today saying that actually he'd be able to go for like 42 million, which is a lot less. And maybe he could bring that down a bit further. Who knows? But other than that, the market's not really saying too much now, but you know, if Haaland doesn't come, I feel the club will go for Lukaku. So it's one of them ones where we have to be patient. The Euros is the main distraction right now. We are going to get those answers very soon. We know the club in situations like this are cooking behind the scenes. So yeah, I definitely feel like money talks, and if Dortmund get the valuations for both Sancho and Haaland, I mean, that's a lot of money for Danny Rose to play with a new squad. So, you know, and they've got some incredible youth coming through, like Mokoko. Like, you know, this guy's going to be the next Haaland. So, yeah, man, thanks for that super chat. And to move on to Tony Tone, hey, man, Tchouaméni and Haaland will be perfect transfer windows. You know, I think so too. Like, I don't think we have to go crazy in the market. Maybe if a lot of players get sold on, then potentially we can go to find replacements for them for the squad. But I think right now, the main focus should be on signing the upgrade players for the team, the positions we really need. And, you know, Tchouaméni, Rice, etc., players like this allow us to play with a 4-3-3. They give us that DM we need. And I think that's the variety that Tuchel wants to see. I think that's why maybe he's stuck more with the three at the back throughout the entire season. But give him the players he needs, and you're going to see more variety from Tuchel. And for me, Haaland as well, as the stats showed last season, you know, our chance creation was incredible. Like, we were creating very, very good opportunities. And the thing that was stopping us was that lack of killer bite, that lack of clinical finishing. And when you're signing Haaland, you know what you're signing. You know what you're buying into. For me, even a midfielder and a striker is perfect with the team we have, the squad we have. When you've got guys like Pulisic, Hudson, Reece, Mount, all these guys will only get better and better and better. You know, it's them ones where it's hard to see the future, but when these guys reach 24, 25, the levels will be even bigger. So, yeah, man, I appreciate that, and thanks a lot. And now to move on to some of the questions from the chat right now. Lucas Plant, has there been any news on Tammy Abraham? Right now, there's been nothing, and maybe we won't hear too much until there's more concrete news about our plans for a striker for next season. I think to sell Tammy right now and Giroud wouldn't be the wisest thing to do at this point in time. So we'll see what happens, you guys. So moving on to Tanashi. Hakimi to PSG is happening. Yeah, it was bound to happen. Yeah, they were the favourites all along. Rafai Javids, Varane, Haaland, Tchouaméni is a 10 out of 10 window. I think Varane's an interesting one. It really depends on if one of our defenders leaves. It feels like, as I told you guys before, defense isn't the priority. It's more priority if a defender leaves us. Because, you know, we're not going to sign Varane when we have how many centre-backs on the club's books right now without one of them going. And I guess ideally you want to sell one of them first before you make a move for Varane, because once clubs know that this guy's out the window, you know what happens, you guys? We've seen it time and time again. They're either going to bring the price down or try and make loan moves. And I think that we've done enough loaning, in my personal opinion. So let's move on to Edward Natal. Do you reckon Werner is the real deal? Listen, Werner's not a bad player. I guess I have more realistic expectations on him. I'll be honest, he kind of surprised me a little bit because I was a bit disappointed. I definitely might think he was before we signed him. Okay, system-wise, I can see how this guy's going to work. I can see how he complements the way we want to do things. But some of the misses from an individual level, of course, you can't second-guess that. And, you know, I like to give him a chance again for next season. Now that he's got more acclimatized to the league and feels more comfortable, maybe we're going to see even bigger confidence from him. I think that's the main thing, because I think we produced enough opportunities for Werner throughout the season. And I think if we can bring that confidence for next season, we're looking at a much stronger player. So thanks for that, man. Moving on to Timothy. Hudson to Bayern in the future. this is going to be interesting to see because, I don't know, personally, I mean, you guys know my thoughts on this, man. I need to see Hudson playing as a left winger. That is his best position. That's how you see what he's really about. You know, Hudson's always had that playmaking about him. He can pick teammates. He can play between the lines. He can roam. He's got good finishing as well. We haven't seen it as much because he's playing more down the right-hand sides. But he does have that in his game. And, of course, he has great dribbling ability too. I feel like he's one of them guys that you just, really buy into, give that confidence to. Because I think the positive that I really liked about Cam and that really impressed me is that, in his first season, maybe, he wasn't as serious, I guess, when you've been injured for so long with an injury like that. You can't really train. And I'd imagine when you're a footballer and all you do is football, if you're not training or if you're not involved, like what are you really doing in your day-to-day life? So, from a human perspective, I can imagine bad habits being picked up, but I know for sure those days are long gone. They're a thing in the past right now. And, Hudson really showed that, I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to press from the front and win my tackles and do my bit defensively. And I think he's definitely improved. Was he one of them guys before that was going in for the 50-50s and, getting tight and getting close? No. But he does that now. And I think that is definitely a great sign of a player that is willing to learn and improve himself and do what he has to do for the team. So I'm hoping this pre-season, that'll be the litmus test for me, where hopefully he does get that game time down the left. But anyway, yeah, we move on. And I got a random question. Do you think Barca's team is good? I think it could be better. That's how I'm going to answer it. But thanks for that. Now moving on to MB. MB, what's good, man? How high do you rate our chances to sign Hall in the summer? Love your content. Keep going. Keep that damn blue flag flying all the way up. 100%, man. We keep it flying high. And for me, I'll give my personal take. I do feel... Okay, what's the best way to say it? I feel realistically positive. You know what I mean? I'm at a stage now where just because things are quiet, I'm not feeling nervous because this happens all the time. This was bound to happen during the Euros too. And a deal like this, you're not going to air it out publicly. Like, you're not going to have every bit of information coming out so other rivals know what's happening. Nah, that's definitely not the move to make. As I told you guys, at the Champions League final, talks out with Raul straight away. I feel like when Raul's going to the game and when talks are happening that quick after the Champions League final, that gives me confidence that, the club, they're looking to do something big here. Of course, 150 mil, maybe that's not the move. That's not the play. But, you want to talk to Dortmund. And if they can bring that price down, as we're seeing from the master reports, if it's 130 million, that's 20 million less, and that's still not too bad. You know what I mean? So we'll have to see, man. But right now, I do feel like I'd say like 60, 65, 40, 35, kind of around that level, basically. But say for that, man, thank you for the super chat. Moving on, and yeah, you guys, apologies if I don't go through all your questions. Obviously, I appreciate you guys getting involved, man. It's nice to see like a busy chat again. It's been a long time, but yeah, of course, it's impossible to go through this all, and I'm looking to maybe end this stream like 10 minutes before the game starts. So we move on to Janid Razak. Yes, bro, how you doing, man? Who in the squad do you think Tuchel should utilise more? Also, how have you been, man? It's mad to see how much you've grown. Yeah, I appreciate that, man. It's weird, like with YouTube, I'll be honest, I don't really think too much about the numbers. I've never really looked at like my subs or views and being like, oh, like getting gas. I feel like I've just become, as I've got older, I've just become too grounded for that to like really faze me, because I'm always thinking I can do more, I can do this, I can do that, you know what I mean? But yeah, other than that, man, yeah, I've been good, and yeah, I think players that Tuchel should maybe look towards more. I mean, it's funny, I was going to say Billy Gilmore, but it seems like he's set to go. I just think that, yeah, the way he's played, the way he commands that ball, the way he plays with so much confidence. I don't know, like, could he have not stayed next season? I mean, I think it would have been a quality midfielder to have in the team, in my opinion. But, maybe the plan from Gilmore, because I've said this for a while too, he wants to play consistently. He wants to play more. And if he feels like he still won't get that, hey, it's time to go. So, we'll find out. Like, naturally, I'm nervous about playing on loan for relegated clubs, but, we'll see. We'll see, man. Anyway, moving on to the next super chat, Shavan Shori. Thank you, man. Hey, Nini. Good to be back. Who do you think we need as a backup goalkeeper if Mendy leaves for AFCON every 2 years? Thank you for the content. Thanks, man. I feel with them ones, we have to kind of have realistic expectations about, the club and the finances, because at the end of the day, it's like a business still. I don't think personally we have to dip in the market to spend money on a backup goalkeeper, especially because I don't really see Kepa going unless like he takes I don't know, unless the club really subsidise the wages, which I don't think they will do. And I think clubs around that level that could afford even paying half or more than half don't really need him. I'm more than happy with just keeping him. I think last season he showed that he was a good backup goalkeeper, and now that we have a more structured defence in front of him, which he did have under Sarri, I do feel like we won't see as many mistakes personally. So listen, when you're investing that type of money, pay them type of bags to sign a goalkeeper like that, the same for FIFA, you can just discard him and throw him away and get someone else. You got to stick with him, and you as a club, as a coach, you need to try and get that confidence back. And I think from last season, it was a positive step to see from Kepa, and I would give him personally another season next year. But thanks for that, man. Moving on to the next super chat. Asia, thanks, man. Hey, Nini, have always been a supporter of your content and commitment. Thanks, man. Backing Havertz and getting Tammy's replacement second striker as a loan permanent deal might solve our striker situation. Listen, I think that's definitely a very smart, realistic way to see things. Let's not be in this thing where we can't get our number ones. We're just desperate to sign anyone and everyone. I think that one of the reasons behind why Liverpool were able to exponentially grow every season is that they waited until the best targets became available and then they bought them. I think that with the potential that your Kais have, your Tammys have, etc., etc., it only makes sense that these guys only keep on improving and improving. I think Kai playing that forward role for Tuchel, this guy will be someone that gets you double digits for goals and assists. I mean, that's his destiny. And Tammy Abraham has shown already that he guarantees you double digits for goals every season. So if it came down to that, we'd have to do it, in my opinion, and I agree. They would be the guys I stick with. So now we move on to Juma. Hey, man. Hypothetically speaking, if we want to buy a right wing back, do you think Corona is a good buy? Yeah, I'm struggling with that word, man. You guys know, you guys can read it for yourself. He's versatile, not expensive, not guaranteed to start, so Tino can rotate. Now, damn, top of my head, I need to remember this news, because if there was going to be a deal for Corona, it had to happen, I think, in this month, because that's when he's available for less, like around 20 million. That's when there's a clause in that contract that can be exercised. I might be paraphrasing things wrong, but I think it was something along them lines. So my thing is, if that was the case, maybe we'd be seeing more reports about him. Or maybe it's someone's where it's like, well, if he really needed someone, we can easily get that deal done. But still, I don't know if right wing back is really one of the key positions. As I was saying in my video, make sure you guys watch the first one on Hakimi and Livramento. It was, I gave you guys some in-depth insight behind the scenes. You understand the context behind the situation for why we tried to sign Hakimi. But thanks for that, man. Moving on to MB again. Safe bro. Could have asked this already in the first super chat. Anyway, you deserve it. Need to know your opinion about the future of Ruben. Man, you guys know that I'm a Ruben fan. And you know that when I'm a fan of someone, I just can't discard him like that. I got to stick on my guy. I got to back him a bit. You know what I mean? For me, the biggest positive last season was that he played a season fully fit. That's the big thing. Now, it's big for me because he hasn't gone... Every season he's played, he's been injured. Even that breakout season under Sarri. Injuries kind of slow things down a little bit too. So, to have an injury like that, when your calf muscle basically went, you weren't walking for months. You had to relearn how to walk again and build everything back. And for the things I was hearing about his application behind the scenes, his work rate, his commitment, his professionalism, brother, it was all inspiring. I can't give up on a guy like that. You came from a low to come back to, even start playing again. Nah, I'm sorry, I can't be doing that. So for me, I need to see him get in a pre-season. I'm hoping Tuchel gives him one. I think he'd be a great solution for the team. I think Tuchel could easily work with them as well. And I think playing with better players is the most important thing. Because as I keep saying, you could have the best player in the world. Messi could play for Fulham. And what, is he going to single-handedly keep them up? Of course not, because it doesn't work like that. When you've got good players, top players, you got to get them other top players to work with. That's how it works for me. You know what I mean? But MB, bro, I hope you're okay with my answer. You know what I mean? I'm still Team Ruben, man, and I'm hoping that he gets a pre-season so we can see how he does. So anyway, to move on to Arthur Shapiro. If Chelsea have an off year and say finish around 8th, wow, that is such an... We just won the Champions League. Like, where does 8th even come in the equation, man? Real talk. Do you think Roman will remain as ruthless as he has been in the past with Tuchel? Well, if that was the case, then yeah, of course, 100%. We've seen it time and time again. If by some, I don't know what would have to happen for us to even get 8th, yeah, of course, Tuchel would be out the door. Moving on. Francisco August. Do you think our team would improve massively with a new specialist attacking coach added to Tuchel's staff? No, I don't think so. I think the context we have to realise is that Tuchel did not have a pre-season. Pre-season is very important to work on, different plays and tactics. And, COVID's, I feel like we got so used to COVID that we forgot the difficulties that it brought. I mean, that fixture congestion was just ridiculous. Like, even having to make content during that period, you got videos coming out nearly... It was ridiculous. So many games, the evening kickoffs as well. It was a bit annoying, not gonna lie. So during times like that, he had basically no time to even work with the players, work on tactics of plays. A lot of times we're playing away games, you're traveling and doing recovery sessions. So the fact that we had success when winning the Champions League, it says a lot about the quality of the players we have. That's what really stood out to me. I was like, okay, shit, these guys were actually a lot better than I thought they were. And yeah, I put my hands up and I say that. Certain guys, maybe, I was seeing a difference. And, falls along lines I normally say of, systems complements players. You play the right system, that's going to get the best out of them. You play the wrong one, vice versa. So, yeah, I'm even more excited now to see what's going to happen during pre-season. Now that Tuchel can fully work with these guys, now that these guys understand more about what he wants, and what some of the new things he's going to bring for next season. I think it's quite exciting, to be honest. But anyway, moving on to some more questions. Okay, let me find one. MBZs. Okay, that's the wrong one to answer. MPJ Games. Who do you see as favourites for the Euros? Now, if you guys have been watching me on the whole the L series on Sky Bet, you know that I am standing. Now, that sounds way too severe. I don't stand for no one. You know that I think that France are the favourites. I just think that, for me, when it reaches the knockout stages, I feel like they'll be that team that no one wants to play against, and they're the team best equipped to take advantage. I just think that when you've got Mbappe, who you can play balls in behind, he's single-handedly stretching defences and just destroying them. It's it's a lot to cope with at international level. But moving on. Josh McGovern, hey man, long time. What do you think will happen with Gilmour, with newly promoted Norwich interested in him? Do you think he will go on loan or stay, or be sold after he goes on loan or stay? Wow. Okay, sorry about that. Give me 1 second. I missed a super chat. Apologize, man. Apologize. I'm trying to figure out how to even find it on this thing. It's been a while since I've been doing streams, and for some reason they don't make it very easy, which is very annoying. But I'll find a way to figure that out, man. I apologize for that. But to ask Josh's question, I think there's a lot of hypotheticals to take from that one. There seems to be a possibility that Gilmour is probably set to even go to Norwich City, and it could be a great educational year for him. Playing a good footballing team that is, has some of the same principles, or the principles are in that same family of how Tuchel likes to think and sees football. And, just playing first team football week in, week out could be what Gilmour needs to have, like a more cemented place for himself in the team for the following season. This guy's a big player, he's a top talent. If we lost him, he'll be having an amazing career. Let's hope that isn't the case. But, I've always felt like your Jorginhos and Kovacs, they won't be here forever. I think the way that Jorginho's agent's spoken, he's destined to go back to Italy at some point, and I think with Kovacic as well, he will definitely be sold him at some point too, and that's when Gilmour will have a place for himself in the team. So thanks for that. Moving on to Manny H. If you miss a super chat, it's gone. Yeah, you're right, but there should be an option here where I can actually see where people have what they've left. But yeah, it's a bit of a mazza, to be honest, because I'm literally looking everywhere. So I might have to get that like obviously pattern for the next Q&A stream. So sorry about that, man. But moving on now to ideal ballers. Hi, Nini. Doesn't it blow your mind that Aspi doesn't start regularly for Spain? Today, alongside Busquets, he showed that he is a massive player, but this bum Enrique will probably start Llorente again. Yeah, man, I feel like sometimes, like pace is valued so much, but actual footballing ability and intelligence can be more important. I mean, if you know how to move the ball quickly because of your speed of thought, that can beat a player that, maybe is physically stronger and better than you. I don't know. I just feel like, it's great to see Aspi starting, and showing what he can normally do. He was a player that really stepped up, and I'm actually curious to see how often Tuchel will turn to him for next season, because this really is like a Tuchel player. This guy was really a massive fan of him. We know that he was reading those the coaching books on leadership. And Aspi fulfilled like 7 of the leadership like mantras. I forgot they are on the top of my head. So you know that we are looking at reinforcements. What does this mean for Aspi's game time next season? But moving on to Munir again, appreciate the support today, man. Just wanted to say, if we can win the title, amazing work. I don't want to start gassing up things now. You know what I mean? I think I said last season that I felt like we had a title challenge. That was not the case. Even though we showed bits of form that was definitely coming. That is definitely on the horizon. In the end, I mean, we're basically in the same position as we were the season beforehand. But, let's see what we do in the market. That's what I'm waiting for. We get those 2 marquee signings, everything becomes different. So, you know what? Ask me that question again in the future. But, you guys, I'm going to be on for maybe like 10, 15 minutes more before I keep it moving, because I need to see the game, the France game today. Moving on to Kabir Dean. Nini, do you agree we will sell Zuma and bring in Ramos or Mark Gueye and Ampadu? Ampadu is an interesting one. This is what football's about, It's all about taking your opportunity at the right time, because every season, there's always someone else that can take your place. And even though Ampadu's good, I mean, we've seen it, his games for Leipzig, he's great at playing out from the back. Playing in the back 3 team would be so amazing for him, but, signing for Sheffield United, the relegation team, didn't work in his favour in the end. It feels like he's below the pecking order now. I feel players like, I don't know, I personally have always thought Trevor Chalobah was a better player, which is not a disrespect to Ampadu. I'm just trying to emphasise the levels we have at the club. Mark Gueye is looking incredible. I mean, he's potentially getting a loan move in the Premier League next season too. And then the talent underneath, like Levi Cole, this guy looks like a baller. And Biamba looks ridiculous too. It's going to be very hard for Ampadu. But yeah, man, thank you for the question. Moving on to the super chat here. And that is a leader Persian. Hey, man, just curious, do you have any thoughts on Daryl DK? He was on loan at Barnsley and scored a lot of goals. He's a Chelsea fan, maybe a backup. Now, it's funny, when we played against obviously Barnsley, I did my preview. So when I do my previews, you guys, I like to really get myself clued up. I like to do my research. I like to understand who we're playing against, how they play, who the players are. And during the time that was in January, we played against Valerian Ismail, the former Bayern guy, against his Barnsley team. And I think DK was signed from some team in the MLS. And from the profile of the player that they signed, I mean, I was like, okay, I can imagine this guy's going to have a great season in the Championship. And he did. He got nearly double digits, I think. And with the whole season, what could he have done? So it's a bit peak that Barnsley weren't able to afford him in the end. He's definitely going to have suitors, and it'll be interesting to see. But I think right now, potential is good, but the potential we needs to be of like the upper scale, because I mean, we've been struggling for consistent goals. I mean, actually not really. We had it in Tammy, but he's not going to be in the picture. But you know what I'm saying, you guys, we've been struggling there, and we need to spend big to really rectify that problem. So Daryl DK, one to watch for sure, but not for us right now, man. In my opinion. But anyway, moving on to the next one. And Saeed's, what are you saying, man? Hey, Nini, Gilmore, Ruben, Ampadu, and Gallagher. What are we doing next season? For me, at this point in time, Gilmore loan, Ruben keep, Ampadu loan, and I think Gallagher loan as well. For me, if I'm a young midfield player, I am playing the long game. There will be a future when potentially maybe N'Golo Kante might not even be here forever. Jorginho and Cover won't be here forever too. Yes, maybe we might reinforce this summer with a new midfield player. Let's even see if that happens in the end. You don't want to jeopardize your game time. If you can play week in, week out, that experience, that education, that will take you a long way. And as we saw with Gallagher, he was Best Promising Young Player of the Year. Playing for a team that plays football, for me, is the next step for him. And, you know, if he was fortunate enough to play for one, I feel you see more to what this guy can bring. So I'm definitely playing the long game if I was him. I think Gilmore as well. I'd actually keep him. And to be honest, I'll sound crazy, but I think Gilmore's potential is so high and good that with, you know, when you have certain prospects like this, sometimes I feel like you have to be forced into creating a path for them now. And listen, if I had a great offer for either like George or Cover, and this ain't like a disrespect to how they play or how they are at all, not at all. But just from that long-term point of view of, yo, if we had a player like this, who's this good, I'd create a pathway from the team now, and I'd even make that sacrifice if I had to. But anyway, yeah, moving on now. Thank you for that super chat, man. To slap a 750. Do you think Tammy should stay and fight like his predecessors like Drogba, or should he just leave? What advice would you give him? Big ups, by the way. I appreciate that, man. Hey, listen, I think Tammy's been doing all that fighting since the moment he signed for us, and I don't think it's really helped him. I don't know. This is the one thing that I still can't fully confirm. Is it like a combination of both the club and Tuchel thinking this is great to move him on? Is this Tuchel like, yo, I just don't need this guy on my team at all? You know, I'm a bit confused because I do think, I can't help but feel like Tammy's been done a little bit dirty. I think when you're a goal scorer, you don't necessarily have to be like incredible in everything. And actually, if Werner scored goals but then played bad for the team, I think people would accept that still. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think Tammy's one of those guys that he will keep growing and improving. I think if you can have a player that guarantees you double digits every season, especially when you're a club that will be having at least, 60, 70 games a season, I don't think you can maybe disregard that. But now that we're seeing Tuchel preferring Havertz in that more forward role, that's become more competition for Tammy, and maybe he's not needed now in that sense. But yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping, ideally, I'd love if he went abroad, got a move like that. I think now, if I'm a young English guy, I'm looking to go abroad straight away, because you know what, you come back, Prem clubs on the sunny on a premium money, premium contracts. I think that's definitely the way to do it, in my opinion. But you guys, I'm gonna be on for 10 more minutes here. 10 more minutes. Tyrese Harrison, Nini, Tammy just ain't got the bunda. Yeah, man. Oh, hey, bunda powers, it's a real thing. None of us even clocked it. We had Hazard here for how long? We only clocked it right in the end. But yeah, I guess it's one of those key things that we'll be seeing a lot more of now in the future. Moving on though, Sean Kenanini. Out of 10, if you had to give your realistic chances, what is your chance of signing Lewandowski or Haaland? Haaland to Madrid 2022, doing the round social media reports. I mean, listen, Marca, these guys, they back their Spanish clubs. I mean, I never take it too serious. The only interesting bit of information I liked from that report was the talk that Dortmund had to reduce their demands by 20 million. I don't know how credible that is, but hey, that's some interesting news, and hopefully we'll get more reports that build from that. So for me, I'd probably have Haaland at a 6.5, and I think for Lewandowski, I'd probably have it at like a 4, to be honest. Listen, if we couldn't get like a Haaland or a Lukaku, and it's like, yo, we need to get a striker, would we splash the money or never? Maybe. And at the same time, I know we always think, okay, he's 32 years old, but these guys, as we're seeing, they play for such a long time, they look after themselves so well that if you sign a Lewandowski, hypothetically, he could easily play for like another 4 years. So, I don't know. I think that's one to watch, but I just think the money is going to be absolutely crazy. 2 years left in this deal? Who are buying going to sell to replace him? I think that deal is more realistic for the following season compared to this season. But yeah, we'll have to see, man. But of course, you guys, I've got 8 more minutes left before I wrap things up and keep things moving. Okay, moving on to Simba. Chalobah is a solution for DM. Yeah, he can play in the back three as well. And he plays out from the back very nicely. I think when he can do that, it's no surprise that he's been used in midfield. But, when he was moved in the back three, that helping that build-up phase too, bringing that creativity from the back, that's when he saw what he could do. And, I thought he had a good season. Like, no one really spoke about him, but he was doing this thing in Liga. And I'm hoping that he can continue to get like a better club there or something. I think that'd be quite sick. But anyway, moving on to James De Arrow, 12. What do you think we need to do to win the league? 1. Sign Haaland. 2. Sign a midfield player. And 3. Alternate the system between 3 at the back for big games and 4-3-3 for the teams at the bottom that took a lot more points from us that we should have allowed. I think that's the best way to do it. I feel we have the squad now. The squad's hungry, it's young. I think when you alternate between a 4-3-3, when you use more attacking players, I think that gets the best out of them because we spent a ton of money on your Pulisics, your Werners, etc. We kept Callum. We turned down a potentially 70 million for his sale. And I think we have to do right by them by creating the pathways in the team to utilize them and get the best out of them. Because, you know what I mean? The reality is there's only 10 outfield spots in the team. So when you play with a 3 at the back consistently, it means one attacking player consistently is out the team all the time. And I just think sometimes, especially against those teams that don't want to play football, that just want to sit back, use that mid block, not come out, not press, then I feel like we play into their hands when we don't have another attacker in the final third. That's them 3 things. We won the league, man. That's how I see it. But moving on to Miguel again. Yes, bro. Thank you, man. Way too much overreaction in not getting Hakimi. Yeah, I feel the same as you. I just don't personally care as much. I didn't really care as much, and even when the reports were coming out, I was still a bit like while going with these stories though, it's a little bit not making too much sense or really adding up as much. Like I said, you guys want to get the full context, of course, description, I have linked the video there. Watch it to find out why the club in the end, what the reason was for them to even go in for Hakimi in the first place. But say for that, bro. Thanks, man. Moving on to Alfreds. Yes, Alfreds. Should we loan out Hudson-Odoi? I don't want to see him loaned, but I also want him to be the very best player he can be. And it'll be up to Cam to decide if he feels he'll get the opportunities here or not. I feel like pre-season, or maybe I'm hoping, I don't know. I'm hoping pre-season is the period where we get a better idea behind how Tuchel's going to use the squad, what the plans are going to be. I think Callum, the opportunity to now be under Tuchel's watchful eye. Other players now with their teams, with their nations at the Euros, and Callum being our problem working under Tuchel, that could be maybe that perfect period he needs during pre-season to, stake his place in the team on the left. So, I'm still kind of 50-50, but personally, I'd want him to stay. Dr. Mantis, yes, thank you, man. Love your content. Best Chelsea YouTube channel. Thank you, man. Any truth to the Ramos rumours? Are Chelsea looking for centre-backs in general? Now, of course, we're definitely looking at centre-backs. It really depends on who gets sold first, but of course, you're going to make sure that you know who your alternatives are going to be, just in case. Now, with Ramos, I'm not too sure personally about the, how valid these stories are right now. But I'd be surprised though, probably not. A player like Ramos coming to the Premier League where you're, one of the few clubs that can really afford you. I think that's how you have to kind of see things as well. A young, hungry team. Would Ramos be? I think it would be quite interesting, quite fun, but at the same time, if you're committing to the wages he's on, or even close to them, I think he's on 300,000+ a week. Let's say even gave him 250k a week. I mean, you still need to have that place from the team, and he's coming there to play. So I don't know. I felt like that's more of a Paris Saint-Germain type of flex than us. I think I like our defense. We got some of the highest clean sheet records across Europe, and you're not doing that by accident. You're not doing that if you're dead players or dead defenders. So, yeah. As I'm really stressing, the levels I saw in players that I didn't know they had, it definitely humbled me. Rudiger being one of the key examples. I thought he had a blastic season for us, man. I really think he did. But you guys, I'm here for 3 more minutes before I have to eat my dinner, man, and watch this game. Moving on to the next super chat, 23SFC. Thank you, man. Thanks for the support today and being involved. I still think there's more to the Lukaku deal. Yeah. He may have made that statement so he can have full concentration on the Euros, would suit the wage book. Now, I did a video discussing this, and the Lukaku thing is, the chapter's not closed just yet. If you want to sign him, you have to personally show Lukaku why you want him, because he's not doing that thing anymore of putting his heart on the line, only for him to just get, just rejected in the end. The commitments that you put forward to Show Lukaku that you're serious and you really want him. Of course, the wage bill, he has to be the highest paid player in the club. You got to make a big bid to let him know you're interested. And, I don't think this is something that's impossible because, Lukaku feels like he has that unfinished business at the club still. But come on, he's a guy of integrity. Like, he keeps things real. Like, Inter Milan, look how amazing it's been for his career. Like, he's gone up to even new levels since he's moved there as well. That physically, I feel like this guy is at a ridiculous peak. Like, he's a lot more toned up now. And it's just like he's got that full mastery of his game. And this is what I keep saying. Like, I remember back in the day when Lukaku would get shot on non-stop. Oh, his first touch, blah, 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 this, that, not good enough. He won't be world class. Hey, we all saw that ourselves. But from day one, I knew he would be this player he is. And as I keep saying, like, development's a long game. When these players become truly, like, properly world class, it's around this type of age where they've fully mastered their game. And I feel like Lukaku is the perfect embodiment of that right now. But appreciate that. I've got a few more super chats. If you guys want your questions answered, literally I'm here for like 2 more minutes before I keep things moving. David Tellers, hey man, or is it David Telesh? Enjoy dinner and the games today, bro. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for supporting and showing some love. Let's hope this France game is going to be entertaining. I think it will be. Let's see what happens. And thank you again, man. Moving on to Granite G. If you could bring back one legend to the club, who would it be and why? That is such an interesting question. I think it's fairly simple for me, to be honest. It would have to be Didier Drogba. I think if you had Drogba in this team, wow, it's just going to be... Can you imagine prime, peak Didier Drogba playing in this team? Like, Drogba was so good that I compare every striker. That's what you do. You compare. You compare to the best you've seen. And, they still don't match his overall game. Like, when Drogba's had the perfect... Like, when his season was perfect. Like, when he was actually fully fit throughout his season. When the tactics was favouring him during the season. Like, when all those things were just, like, patterned for him. We got absolutely incredible seasons from him. And I think Drogba in this team up front just... it will take us to an absolutely different level, to be honest. Part of me too is thinking Eden Hazard. I think Hazard down the left-hand side, I think he'd have a lot more freedom. He scored a lot more goals under Sarri when he has like more freedom to play. That's when we saw his best scoring record for us. And it kind of felt like when Hazard demonstrated that he can get 20 goals a season back when he was at Lille as a teenager, we didn't do enough as a club from a tactical perspective to really get the best out of his goal scoring. I think Hazard in this team as well takes us to a different level. But yeah, man, they're the two players I'm looking at that I think could do bits. I want to say to everyone, thank you for, of course, getting involved. And yeah, in the comments below, let me know how you felt about the Q&A stream, and if you want to see a lot more of them. I'm hoping to bring back some like Q&A discussions as well, maybe some podcast style formats and talks too. So it should definitely be a good one. And yeah, you guys, appreciate all the love, all the support you guys show all the time. And yeah, of course, man, I love making this content. And yeah, I feel so fortunate that I'm able to actually even do what I do, to be honest. Like, I've always been an absolute nerd for football. Like, all my guys used to call me pundit. They used to call me pundit and professor when I was talking football. And I was even talking to my guy the other day. It's like, he's not even into football like that. He's a United fan. He's like, why am I knowing about Jeremy Boga? I should have no reason to know about this guy. Like, you've been yapped on about this guy for years and years. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, I don't know how I even told you guys that story, but yeah, I'm gonna keep things moving. I'm gonna bounce. I need to eat. I need to enjoy myself, watch this game, and maybe I might even have a cold one too while I'm at it. So on that note, I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos. And of course, before I go, the description is the latest videos that came out today. So make sure you